Welcome to Anime Capper. In today's video, we recap an anime which includes the supernatural and romance all in one. Hidaka introduces us to the story that is the secret of the world. We meet Hina as she sits with her mother in the hospital, but when she looks out the window, she spots a ray of sunshine that penetrates the rainy atmosphere. She rushes over to it, and when she comes to the roof of the building, she finds a shrine. After she crosses the shrine gate, she prays, and she finds herself falling out of the sky onto a valley in the sky. Hidaka warns us that this exact moment will change the shape of the world. We flash ahead, and we find Hidaka as he takes a ferry to Tokyo. The rain drenches him on the deck of the boat, but when a giant ball of water drops onto the boat, he almost slips right off the side. Thankfully, he's saved by Suda. When they reach the city, Suga says his goodbyes, but he hands Hidaka his card just in case he needs to get a hold of him while he's in the city. Afterwards, Hidaka finds a small apartment, and he tries to find work even though he doesn't have an ID or student ID even. One night, he ends up walking around Shinjuku, and he finds a nice little alley to squat in. Eventually, he gets knocked over, and he makes the trash can fall. When he picks up the cans, he finds a paper bag. Hidaka decides to take it with him, and he heads to a McDonald's where he finds out that the paper bag had a gun in it. He decides to keep it, but he has bigger problems. He still can't find work. After a nice nap, one of the workers comes out with a hamburger for him, and Hidaka meets Hina for the first time. The next day, Hidaka heads to Suga's house to ask about a job, and he walks in to find Natsumi. When Suga shows up, he tells Hidaka that they write pieces on urban legends, and he puts him on the case of the Sunshine Girls and lets him stay with them. One day, Hidaka goes on a walk through the city, and he spots Hina being hassled by a shady guy who tries to get her to work at his club. Hidaka rushes in and tries to run with her, but the man catches up and starts beating him. Hidaka pulls out the gun he found before and fires a warning shot. Hina and Hidaka run off to a safe spot, and he throws the gun on the ground. After explaining her situation, Hina takes Hidaka to the roof where she actually parts the clouds to let the sun shine. Hidaka finds out that she's actually one of the Sunshine Girls that they've been researching about. Hidaka heads home and tries to brainstorm ideas on how to help Hina make some money. Later, he heads to Hina's apartment and she makes lunch for him. Afterwards, Hidaka shows her his plan for making money by being a Sunshine Girl. After they put up the website, they get their first request, and they stop the rain at a flea market like they requested. After that, business starts to boom. Later, Suga and Natsumi go to interview an elderly man, and they find out that the Sunshine Girls actually end up dying in the end. Elsewhere, Hidaka asks Hina's brother Nagi what he should get her for her 18th birthday, and Nagi tells him that he should buy her a ring. Sure enough, he gets her a ring, and he plans to give it to her after their final job the next day. The final job is none other than Suga, who asked for a clear day so he can see his daughter. Finally, Natsumi and Suga get to meet Hina, and Natsumi shows Hina what she found out about the Sunshine Girl. At the end of the playdate, Hidaka escorts Hina on her way home, and he almost gives her the ring on the way. Hina gets swept up by the wind and rain though, and after she comes back down, she explains to Hidaka about the day she became a Sunshine Girl. She tells him about the day that she crossed the shrine gate, and she found herself looking up at a clear sky. When they finally get to Hina's house, Hidaka goes to the bathroom to clean up, and the police come to the door to ask Hina if she's seen Hidaka. They also talk about how Hina and Nagi can't live there alone anymore without a guardian. The police tell Hina that they'll be back the next day with child services, and they'll separate Hina and Nagi. After they leave, Suga shows up, and he tells Hidaka that the police asked him about Hidaka. Suga can't risk having Hidaka come back to his house, so he gives him as much cash as he can, and Hidaka decides to run with Hina and Nagi. The three of them hop on a train, and they go around to find a hotel that would let them stay. None of them let them stay since they don't have an adult or ID, and the weather keeps getting worse as it sets records for rainfall and flooding in the area. Tokyo starts to sit underwater, and the three kids still haven't found a place to stay. Back at Suga's house, Natsumi shows up to find him passed out drunk, and after he wakes up, he tells her that he had to kick Hadaka out. Natsumi is upset with him about that, but she's also worried about Hina being a sacrifice for the weather. Meanwhile, Hadaka gets tackled by the police, and Hina ends up having to use the weather to help him escape. Finally, they find a hotel that will let them stay so long as they can pay. They enjoy a roof over their head, a huge feast, karaoke in their room, and a big warm bed. After Nagi falls asleep, Hadaka finally gives Hina the ring he got her, and she tells him what Natsumi told her about being a sacrifice to clear the weather. At first, he doesn't believe her, but she takes her robe off to show that her body is turning into water. Hadaka makes her promise that they'll all stay together, and he won't let her go. After they pass out, Hadaka wakes up to find Hina is gone, and the police burst in to take him and Nagi. When they go outside, Hadaka notices the rain has completely stopped, and he knows that Hina is gone. Hina's ring falls from the sky, and Hadaka is taken away by the police. After Hadaka is taken into the police station, he manages to escape, and Natsumi shows up on her moped to take him to the building with the shrine. After escaping the cops yet again, they come to the end of the road thanks to flooding, and Hadaka takes off on foot. During his run, he remembers that he's the reason Hina used her powers to clear the rain, and he blames himself for her disappearing. When he finally gets to the building, he runs into Suga inside, who tries to talk him into going to the police station, but Hadaka grabs the gun he threw away before. He fires a shot into the sky, and the police show up and try to apprehend him. Thankfully, Suga holds down two of the officers, and Nagi bursts in to hold back the third. Hadaka runs up to the shrine and jumps through. Suddenly, he's falling through the sky, and eventually, he finds Hina lying on a valley in the sky. After she looks up to see him falling, she leaps off the edge of the valley cloud and falls back down to earth with Hadaka. With her comes the rain, and the rain keeps coming for 3 years without end. Tokyo ends up getting submerged from the rainfall, but Hadaka ends up being put on probation until his graduation. When he finally graduates, he moves to Tokyo to start his life, and he hopes to see Hina for the first time. He ends up finding Suga, and Suga tries to tell him that he shouldn't worry about the world changing or seeing Hina. Finally, Hadaka runs into Hina, and he can't help but cry at the sight of her. After they embrace, he's happy that he chose her instead of the weather 3 years ago, and he tells her that they're going to be just fine. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more, and comment what you think I should do next. Thank you.